Okay, these are the notes for solving radical equations, but these are going to be a little bit more challenging. There's going to be some factoring probably involved, which means you're probably going to have some trinomials. So this goes back to what we did the first couple weeks of school. So if you need to go back and look at those notes, you can. And again, these are the same things from yesterday, or on the previous lesson rather. All the different steps on radical equations. Remember, what gets rid of a radical sign is squaring it. The opposite of square rooting something is squaring it. So if we look at this first example here, I need to solve for x. Well, if I'm going to square one side, remember I need to square the other side. But if I square the left side, I'm squaring everything. So not only am I squaring the square root, which will cancel it, I also need to square that 3. So that's really 3 squared. Square root cancels the square, so it's 3 squared x. Remember, this square cancels this square root, so 5x plus 80. Now this one shouldn't be too tough. 3 squared is 9, so it's 9x equals 5x plus 80. And again, what would we do to get x by itself? Get rid of the 5x here. 9x minus 5x is 4x. Bring down the 80. How are you going to get x by itself? Divide by 4. 80 divided by 4, x is equal to 20. Now, before you commit and circle that answer and say, yes, that works, go and plug it back in. So in other words, if I plug it back in here, that was 3 radical x. Well, if x is 20, plug it back in and see if it equals radical 5 times x. X was 20 plus 80. Okay, I can break down 20 into 4 and 5, and 4 gives me a pair of 2's, so 2 joins 3, so this is really 6 radical 5. Okay, now if I get 6 radical 5 on this side, I know it's a good answer. So let's do 5 times 20, that's 100, plus 80. Well, then this answer is the square root of 180, but I think we can simplify that. Now again, this is a larger number. I'd probably go to my calculator, do y equals 180 divided by x, look for some good factors. And actually when I do that, I find 36 and 5. Why do I like 36? Gives me a pair of 6's. So, what is this equal to? 6 on the outside, 5 on the inside. So are these two equal to each other? Yes. Now you can circle 20 and say, yep, that answer works. Sometimes the answer works, sometimes it doesn't. Remember, if it doesn't work, it's considered an extraneous solution. So we talked about that. It's not a valid solution to the original problem, so that's what an extraneous solution is. All right, so let's go back. Let's look at the next one. Same thing. If I'm going to solve for y, I got to get rid of this radical sign. Well, if I square the right side, that's going to get rid of the whole thing. All that's going to be left is 7y minus 10, but don't forget it. Whatever you do to the right, you got to do to the left. You got to square the left side. So now you have y squared equals 7y minus 10. This is going to end up being a trinomial. How do I know that? I've got 3 terms, y squared, a 7y, and a 10 that don't go together. So what I need to do is bring everything to one side. Well, since y squared is already positive on the left, why don't we bring the 7y over by doing minus 7y, and bring the 10 over by doing plus 10. Now when I do minus 7y and plus 10, on the left side, they have nothing to go with. So what I'm left with is y squared minus 7y plus 10. You have 0 on the right side. Now remember, to solve a trinomial, you have to factor it first. And again, this one shouldn't be too tough. 2 numbers that when multiplied give me 10, but add up to negative 7. And what's the only way to get y squared? The only way to get y squared is y and y. And remember your rules. If you have a minus here, but a plus here, both signs inside should have been minus and minus. So what are 2 numbers when multiplied that give you 10 but add up to a negative 7? Well, it's either 10 and 1 or 2 or 5, but the only way you can add up to a negative 7 is a negative 2 and a negative 5. All right? But you're not done. Remember, we did this first couple of weeks. You need to solve. Solve means set the binomial equal to 0. You quizzed on that. Well, how do you get rid of the minus 2? Plus 2? Okay, so one answer is y is equal to positive 2. Do y minus 5 equals 0? Add 5. The other answer is y equals 5. Now, before you circle them, plug them back into the original one. So let's start with 2. I'm going to plug the 2 into the y. So that's 2 equals radical 7 times y, which was 2, minus 10. All right, 7 times 2 is 14. 14 minus 10 is 4. Is 2 equal to the square root of 4? Yeah, because the square root of 4 is 2. So 2 equals 2. Yep, that works. Circle that answer. Try 5. Maybe 5 works, maybe it doesn't. Let's see. All right, so that would be 5 equals the square root of 7 times 5 minus 10. 5 is equal to, what's 7 times 5? 35 minus 10. What's 35 minus 10? 25. Is 5 equal to the square root of 25? Yeah, because square root of 25 is 5. So guess what? They both work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Both answers are good. All right? Let's go to the third one. Just like the previous one. So same thing. You need to square the right. Then you need to square the left. So you got x squared, square cancels the square root, equals 15 minus 2x. Well, that's a trinomial. None of those go together. So how do I get rid of 15? Minus 15. How do I get rid of minus 2x? Plus 2x. All right, so when you bring a plus 2x and a minus 15 to the other side, you should get x squared plus 2x minus 15, and you have nothing on the right side now, just 0. So again, break it down. I'm not going to give you anything that's too tough. All right, so you have an x and an x. That's the only way to get x squared. But be careful. What was the rule if you had a minus here? One of these signs has to be a minus. So two numbers that when multiplied give you negative 15 that add up to positive 2. It's either 1 and 15 or 3 and 5. I believe it's got to be a 3 and a 5. But how do you get it to add up to a positive 2? One's got to be a minus. Be minus 3 plus 5. But you're not done yet. You got to set them equal to 0. So x minus 3 equals 0. That's solving. Bring the 3 over. You get x equals 3. X plus 5 equals 0. Bring the 5 over. You get x equals negative 5. Let's see if both of these answers work. So let's start with 3. So plug 3 back in for x. Then do square root of 15 minus 2 times x. Well, that was 3. So what's 2 times 3? 6. So that's 15 minus 6. What's 15 minus 6? 9. Is 3 equal to? Is 3 equal to the square root of 9? Yeah, because the square root of 9 is 3. 3 equals 3. So that works. Circle 3. Let's try negative 5. So that would be negative 5 equals the square root of 15 minus 2 times negative 5. And I'm running out of room here. Let me slide it over a little bit. All right, times negative 5. So negative 5 is equal to, negative 2 times negative 5 would be a plus 10, 15 plus 10. I'm starting to see a problem with this one. Does negative 5 equal the square root of 25? No. Negative 5 does not equal the square root of 25 because the square root of 25 is a positive 5. So guess what? That doesn't work. No. Do not circle negative 5. Put an X through it. That one does not work. The only answer that worked was 3. So what was negative 5 called? Negative 5 was called a extraneous solution, an answer that is not valid. All right? You got negative 5, but it doesn't work. So make sure you always plug it back in. All right, last one. You might see something like this on your quiz. You need to square both of these, but be careful. You're squaring this binomial. What does b minus 2 squared mean? B minus 2 times b minus 2 equals 3b minus 8. Okay, you've got to do FOIL here. That's b squared minus 2b minus 2b again. This is not difference of squares. This is perfect squares. Negative 2 times negative 2 is plus 4 equals 3b minus 8. Clean up these two. What's a minus 2b and a minus 2b? B squared minus 4b plus 4 equals 3b minus 8. Now, bring everything to one side. Get rid of the 3b. Get rid of the minus 8 by doing a plus 8. Who do they line up with on the other side? The minus 3b goes under the minus 4b. And the plus 8 goes under the plus 4. So you have b squared minus 4b minus 3b is minus 7b. 4 plus 8 is 12 equals 0. All right. A little bit of work to do. Two numbers that when multiplied give you a positive 12 but add up to a negative 7. Remember the rule. If it's a minus then a plus, both signs should be minuses. Only way to get b squared is b and b. So what are two numbers when multiplied give you 12 but add up to negative 7? 1 and 12, 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. It's got to be 3 and 4. And when you go to set these equal to 0, you should get two positive answers. B minus 3 equals 0. Bring the 3 over. B equals 3. B minus 4 equals 0. Bring the 4 over. It should be B equals positive 4. Only other thing to do is check them. So let's start with 3. I'm going to plug 3 in for B. So that's 3 minus 2 equals, I'm going to plug it in here. That's 3 times 3 minus 8. Well, what's 3 minus 2? 1. What's 3 times 3? 9. What's 9 minus 8? 1. Is the square root of 1 equal to 1? Yes. So that works. Circle 3. Good answer. All right, let's try 4. Let's leave a little bit of room here. So that's going to be a 4 in here for B. 4 minus 2, which is 2, equals the square root of 3 times 4 minus 8. All right, 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. Is the square root of 4 2? Yes. So that one works. So both answers work, no extraneous solutions. That's it. All right, same thing. You'll have homework. It should be open by now. Just make sure you either print it off and write all your work, or you write it on a separate sheet of paper. But make sure you show all your work and then upload